Hey guys, Scott Fishman here with a great guest. She's running roughshod in MLW right now, has built so much momentum going in. She's a little intimidating, so I'm kind of glad we're kind of doing this virtual right now. Zamaya, how's it going?
Going great. I wish it wasn't virtual. I I never do anything unless you cross me. You know what I mean?
All
And
right,
you seem
well,
like a good guy, Scott.
so far so good. So, I got my first chance to kind of see you firsthand to kind of experience your entrance and everything in Orlando and Kissimmee at the tapings. I mean, what does it mean to be part of MLW? I mean, I think you've been at this for a couple years now. I think what 2022. So this is kind of your biggest platform. People are starting to respond to you. I mean, what does that mean? Like, what are the last couple of months meant to you?
It's meant everything. I've been wrestling for 3.5 years now. And so to get this opportunity so early on is incredible. And I got to start with MLW at such an amazing moment because I feel like MLW is at a point now where stuff's rolling and we have so many new faces and it's super cool. And MLW is just the place to be. It's on fire, it's building every single day, and why not be part of the hottest company and have the fastest growing professional wrestler on it? So
Yeah.
it's been super cool. And they also are super welcoming with just creativeness. Like they're open to your creative ideas, and it's been such a cool place to be.
Take me through, you talk about creativity. I love the presentation. Let's talk about just where that all came from. Where did you find inspiration? I mean, how did that kind of start?
So I want to say my first original inspiration was Bull Nakano, because I love Bull Nakano. She's a badass, right? And when I first started, I had the spiked hair. Eventually, that kind of leaned more into Luna Vachon. I started to curl it a bit. And then just the intensity overall, like she just, when you watch her, you're like, these girls are dying. And so that was an inspiration of just, okay, be intense, be vicious. And I grew up loving Jeff Hardy, Sting. And so I was like, okay, all these guys that I love have painted faces. So I leaned more into that. And it's just a way to express myself a lot more. And the viciousness, I would say, heavily inspired by my trainers. Um, his name's Gabriel Gallo, Don Vitale, and Joe Graves and Max. I just call him Max. You'll never know who he is. He's top secret. But the way they wrestle, they're super intense, super vicious. They don't hold anything back. And so I think just all these people surrounding me turned out well.
Yeah, it's a nice mix. I mean, I just love that. Just shows you're a student of the game when you're mentioning names like Bull Nakano and Luna Vachon. I know Luna just had this. There was a great documentary out. I really want to go see. I haven't seen it yet, but just I'm excited to see that. So it's nice to see the next generation kind of pull from that inspiration. And then when you look at, it's a very an eclectic mix when you look at the MLW women's division. I mean, when you think about it. You have Scarlett. You talk about creativity. Shotzi, Scarlett. They all kind of fall in line with kind of what you're kind of doing with. I mean, how has it kind of been? How welcoming has the locker room been to you? I mean, what do you kind of make of it? As you mentioned, this is a great time for MLW, but specifically, I think for the women's division, as it's kind of building from the ground up, where many years ago it maybe was just a handful, just a couple, but it seems like they're actively recruiting. And I love that they're bringing someone like yourself, who they can kind of where the sky's the limit, and we kind of see it's almost like a blank canvas and kind of seeing where we're going because we haven't seen you on like the mainstream television shows and things like that. So it's kind of almost like you're turning into this homegrown MLW talent. So how is it kind of being embraced by the women that are there right now and who have been around for a while?
Yeah, it's been super cool. And they've been so welcoming. Like those are women that have so much experience in the business already. And when I was probably, I want to say 16, I'm 24 now, I was watching Shotzi on TV. So it's just been super cool to have this full circle moment and be able to go to these women with questions and with creative ideas and have them give me their opinion and help me out as the young kid coming in to the locker room. So it's been super awesome, and I'm super blessed with the women that we already have there. And I'm also super excited to just see what other women are added to the roster, because I feel like right now we have so many different women. Like everyone has a different role, and yeah, it's super cool.
And you're so active on the independents. I mean, who would you recruit if you're a court right now? Who would you make a case for?
Oh, wow. Let's see. Who do I want to rip the head off of? Um, no, I would say there's this girl out here. I knew her before I started wrestling because I followed her out here in Arizona. And she's so hardworking. She's so determined. Her name is Brittany Brooks.
Hmm.
And she's helped me since I started in wrestling. So I think she has it all. I think she's a killer, and it would be super cool to see her out here.
Awesome. What kind of advice, now that you're on this platform, what have you kind of advice have you taken? I mean, being on television, it's different when you're kind of working independents and you're on live events. Although now it seems like every independent has its own film crew and things like that sort of thing. So it's almost like the transition's a little easier. But is there something that you kind of had to kind of get familiar with or anything when you're doing like a television taping, like for Fusion, for example?
I would say just the strictness of the time.
Hmm.
Because out there on the indies, it's not really that strict. Some people will go 40 minutes and then their match was 15. And so with MLW, they really put a hard stop on stuff like that. So it teaches you that if your boss is saying one thing, you need to listen to the boss. And so that was something that I've been learning much more of. And overall, just the environment, it's so professional, and that's something I'm not that used to. It depends on the promotion, but being in such a professional environment that is so motivated to be better each and every single time, that's been awesome. And it's just taught me a lot in general.
Telling me that you're 24, 3 years in, what 21, 22 starting. What did the kind of family think of your presentation when they're watching you on TV, but also that you wanted to pursue this as a job?
You said my family?
Yeah, how'd your family
Oh,
respond?
they were all for it.
Okay.
I started getting into wrestling probably when I was around 4 years old. My mom actually makes the joke, and it's a true story, according to them, that when I was born in the hospital, there was actually Friday Night SmackDown just playing on the TV randomly with the
Really?
volume all the way down. And so we're like, okay, the seed was planted there. And then as I got a little bit older, my dad just always had it on the TV because this is something he wanted to do. And so naturally, I just kept seeing it over and over and over. And I was like, that's super cool. And then as I got older, the passion never left. And so I picked it up. And since then, my parents are front row every show that they can be at. And they have my dog on their lap, and they're there to support, and they're just super excited, and like it's awesome to have such a supportive platform to be a part of.
What do they make of everything in the ring when you're dominating all these women and you're being this killer in the ring?
They sometimes you can tell they're just like, who is that? And so it's super funny to get their reaction. But my dad loves it because he's super into like people being vicious like that. My mom, on the other hand, she's like, what are you doing? But overall, they're excited.
Where do you kind of find inspiration? I know you mentioned on the wrestling side, but I know a lot of people take creativity from other sources as well. As would you take it like, is there some sort of character, a comic book character or movie characters or anything that you also pull from when you're kind of thinking about how you want to kind of have your look and everything like that?
I wouldn't say more of my look, but I actually research a lot of Thanos because he was just the ultimate heel. And
Right.
so I just listen to the way he speaks, the way he moves, how slow he's walking, and then the way he speeds up when he means something. And so that's been someone I've been watching a lot more recently.
What's one thing that would surprise fans to know about you?
To know about me. Hmm.
Do you have like a hobby or something that would stand out or something that you like to
I
do on the
guess
weekends?
I guess it would be that I'm super into baking. I love baking. I bake cookies, brownies, cakes. That's like my little side hobby is I just love to bake. And I think that would surprise quite a few people.
Beating people up and baking. That's a great
Yeah,
combination, I'd say.
exactly.
Coming up on Fusion, you have this match with Priscilla Kelly. Talk about just what we can expect from that. What are your thoughts on her? I mean, someone who worked elsewhere, has also been on the independents, had opportunities, kind of a similar road. So, what's it going to be like when you're facing someone like her, and what have you kind of taken from her own experiences?
Yeah, I she has so much experience in the business and I respect her so much for what she's been through and what she's overcame and what she has accomplished in the business. And I think that I'm so new and she's so experienced that that clash is exciting because we haven't wrestled before this moment. And although she does have the experience, I think that I'm just the new force to be reckoned with. And I'm taking MLW by storm. So I'm super, super excited for people to see this.
Talk about just what it's like to be, traveling like yourself, just kind of, all the things that we don't think about when it comes to wrestling, like the presentation, the gear you got to bring, the makeup, all that you got to take on the road with you. I mean, how is it kind of adjusting to that over the years? And have you kind of found a system in place? I mean, I think wrestlers kind of
Yes.
find that. So, when you talk about packing, you got to worry about, how much weight can I bring on the suitcase? I mean, how is it managing that? I'm just fascinated by that part of
That's
the
actually a super excited question because I do complain about this a lot. Um, because it's been so hard to figure out my exact packing situation. Um, so I need 3 bags. There's no less. I cannot take two. It has to be three because the big spikes are not allowed on the plane. And so I do have to get that bag checked. So my football pads go in the big suitcase with 2 big cans of hairspray. So those all get checked. And my meal prep is in there. And then my smaller bag is all my gear, all my makeup, everything else that Zamaya would need. And then my backpack is just all the rest. Just, comb, brush, charger, all the little necessities. But I always think it's funny to tell people that I only check a bag for the spikes because they will not allow they will not allow it. It's a weapon.
and I feel like you need backup if, God forbid it gets lost or someone's going to pick it up. I can
Yes.
imagine someone just like
Yes. I do get nervous about that. Someone just picking up my suitcase, they open it up and they're just like, who does this belong to?
so it hasn't happened yet. So,
Not yet, thank
okay.
goodness.
Well, who knows? Soon you might have to consider some hardware you got to be taking around with you as well. So we got to be.
Exactly.
Just the sacrifices you make for art, and to make sure that you're kind of representing the way you want to. With the character, I mean, how do fans approach you? Like, do you find that some of them are a little off put, like, oh my God, I'm coming a little worried, or how's that been like?
It, it's been 50-50, I feel like. I feel like sometimes I show up and there's kids that are kind of terrified of me, but then they're confused because I'm pink. And so the girls are just like, I don't know if I'm supposed to like you or be scared of you because you're wearing all my favorite colors, but you're also hurting this girl very badly. And so it's always a 50-50. And overall, I'm happy about it. They're normally terrified, and that's what I love. Be terrified of me. I don't care.
Major League Z, we're still in the the first couple months of this. What can you tease about, the ideas that you have? I mean, are we going to see some cool vignettes? What kind of stories are we going to see with your character? Where do you want to see yourself go on the screen now that they have this episodic format going again with Fusion?
So, my current plan the last few months was to just tiptoe in, learn as much as possible, figure out what we're dealing with. Now, I've told everybody this. It is now Zamaya's world. MLZ, Major League Z. I'm taking MLW by storm, and I am the chaos. I am the force to be reckoned with, and I'm going to take over. It doesn't matter who's in my way. This is mine.
And I think that the timing is perfect for this too, with the partnerships with the different promotions. And you talk about Bull Nakano. That's the thought of going to Japan, and I just can imagine the reaction that you'd get there and the
Yeah,
success. I
that
mean, you thought about that? Is that like a bucket list for you?
yes, that Japan has been a bucket list of mine since before I even started wrestling. I dreamt of wrestling and being in Japan and wrestling the Stardom Girl. So to be in a company as hot as MLW is right now, and to be in a company that has now partnered with MLW or with Stardom and CMLL, like that's super cool. And I'm just super excited to see where it goes because I would love to wrestle all the Stardom girls.
Any dream matches?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. What about where people can find you on social media? I bet you're a fun follow. I've seen some of your work on Twitter, but I'm sure, and I'm sorry, X, but also I'm sure on
Yes.
Instagram. And so where can people kind of follow you, and what goes into like the content? What can we expect on that page if we're following you?
Yeah, so I'm not active on X. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Now that MLW is rolling out stuff, I'm like, okay, I need to be a little bit more active on there. But my Instagram is where I am the most active, and that is at it's Zamaya, ITSZAMAYA. And that's where I post all my pics. I post pictures, I post little reels, I post all my matches with links where you can go watch them. And so that's super cool. I'm also getting a little bit more active on TikTok, um, which is new for me. That is at it's Zoomies, so it's ZOOMIEZ, and that's just random stuff that probably more of the girlies would like because it's a little bit more trendy sounds and stuff. But Insta is where all the scary, terrifying Zamaya stuff is.
And maybe some baking. We'll see now
Maybe
that's
I might have to
out of the
start my
bag.
own. I might have to start my own little baking show now that we mentioned that.
What about any future dates or anything that you want to let people know about that you're going to be appearing the next couple weeks?
So future dates right now, if you live in Arizona, I am the Phoenix Championship Wrestling Women's Champion, and that is where my home is. Other than MLW, they kind of stole me away, but that's where I'm going to be at mostly in the next couple months. And then with MLW, we're back in Charleston, Philly, and Chicago this year, this fall, once we get back on the road. So I'm super excited to go back out there.
Yeah, especially with MLW with momentum selling out, three
Yes,
venues on a weekend. I mean, that's just awesome
it
to kind
was
of see,
awesome.
and just building that momentum in those major cities too, which a great fan base. But for fans, we can catch the action of MLW on YouTube 6:05 p.m. I love that. Being a student of the game, I'm sure you appreciate that time frame.
Yes.
Veeps at 9 p.m., BN Sports at 10 p.m., and then they just announced New Japan World Mondays 12 p.m. Japan time. So there's no excuse why you can't watch MLW. So
And
thank you
it's
so
free.
much. Yeah, free nowadays. You got to appreciate that. So thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. It was great getting to know you a little more, and looking forward to seeing the chaos and the carnage unravel on MLW. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.